Hey man, you guys are now tuned in to Sports Industry Podcast. Let's get it going, man. I'm sure everybody knows. I'm sure you watched the game. If you tuned into this video, you watched the game. Lakers Nuggets. Lakers got sent to Cancun, unfortunately. And it's a very, very sad day. Very sad day for me, Laker Nation, Bron fans, the NBA. It's hard, right? So it's hard to come to this realization that, for one, as a Laker fan, the Lakers are out of the playoffs, first round, and as a LeBron fan, and basically NBA fan too, no LeBron in the playoffs. That is, it's mind-blowing, right? I think I seen something, it said, for the first time in 20 years, no Bron, no KD, no Steph in the NBA playoffs. And that's shocking. And it's telling, because it's about to be a new era of basketball, and will that be exciting? I think it will be. Not as exciting as the LeBron James, Steph Curry, you feel me? Those two kind of picked up, I want to say, NBA basketball from 2014, 2015 till now. With them going back and forth in the NBA Finals, Steph Curry kind of reinventing a new way to play basketball in the NBA. And to come to this realization that they're not in the playoffs and there's going to be a new era of basketball, it's kind of heartbreaking, but it is what it is. You know, time moves on. Time definitely moves on. So let's get into that game. Lakers up as usual, right? As usual. I want to say the Denver Nuggets make a little bit of run, but the Lakers are still in the game. AD gets hurt, and I want to say we were up by 9. AD gets hurt, and it's so deflating, right? So deflating. His shoulder, whatever it wasn't good that whole quarter, and maybe the beginning of the fourth, but you started to see that he was still good defensively. He just was a non-factor offensively. LeBron had to carry the load. D'Lo did a tremendous job getting some timely buckets, going to the basket when he knows his shot is not in. I love how aggressive D'Lo was going to the basket, and I wish he showed that a lot more, right? So, but D'Lo stepped up. Austin Reeves stepped up with some huge baskets. There was one in particular that I wish he had back. He gets to a shot, right? Middle of the key. And then he pulls up, and it's just short. Just short. Denver comes back. I believe somebody missed. Aaron Gordon gets the rebound, kicks it out. Jamal Murray for the three. They take the lead. Lakers still were able to tie the game up, right? So I guess that possession didn't really mean as much. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But once they were able to get the ball, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, you know what was going to happen, right? You knew exactly what was going to happen. Jokic, Murray, two-man game, dribble handoff. And it's like we've seen this as a Laker fan. We've seen this story before. I was telling my girl, I'm like, I do not like this situation right here. For them to get the last shot and Jamal Murray, you know he's going to take the shot. They get the dribble handoff. AD can't switch because it's an easy pull-up. I mean, just drop it down to Jokic for an easy jumper to win the game. AD doesn't switch. Austin Reeves gets over the top. And you see Taurean Prince tell Rui, move over, but Rui he didn't do it. I don't know why, but Prince actually moved him, like, go do it. He didn't do it. Jamal Murray hits a game-winning shot once again, and then he sends us home. And it was very heartbreaking, dude, to even watch that game. I want to say my heart was beating as fast as it was beating hella fast. And fuck, it sucks. It sucks to know that the Lakers go out like that against the same team 2 years in a row. So it is what it is. I want to get into some of the things that the Lakers can do this offseason But there's one that I want to, kind of touch on in particular, and that's the head coaching change that people keep saying is about to happen. And one thing that I don't get, I mean, he's in the NBA circle, but Sham says it's highly unlikely for Darvin Ham to be brought back. How does he get these reports? I don't know. Right after the game, like 5 minutes after, whatever. But let's go over it. Darvin Ham in 2 years with the Lakers. First year, he takes them to the Western Conference Finals after starting the year off with an awful roster and an awful record. And that's honestly player personnel, right? That has something to do with Rob Pelinka. So, but one thing Rob did do, he was able to make it up. He trades Russell and that first round pick, I believe, gets D'Lo, gets Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, gets Rui for a couple second rounders. And that brought the Lakers talent-wise a little bit up to compete in the West that year. So we were able to go to the Western Conference Finals in Darvin Ham's first year, really first half a year, let's be honest. And we lose to the Denver Nuggets in 4. The eventual champions that year. So let's get into his second year, right? Starts the year off pretty good. In-season tournament champs. First time, because it was the first time we did the in-season tournament as the NBA. He wins that. And then we go on a slump, right? We go on a slump. A little bit of health has to do with that in terms of the role players. LeBron and AD were healthy all season long. Jared Vanderbilt gets hurt. Gabe Vincent gets hurt. Rui gets hurt. And then we go on a slide, which shouldn't have happened. We go on a slide, and then we end up in this predicament where we're 10th in the West. I want to say the last couple of games, maybe 10 to 15 games, we were able to move up to the 7th spot. And then we play the Pelicans in the in-season tournament. Not in-season tournament, the play-in tournament. Sorry about that. Then we beat the Pelicans, and then once again, we face the Denver Nuggets, the defending champions, and we lose in 5. But here's one thing where I kind of understand why people would say Darvin needs to go. The in-game adjustments, I guess, weren't there, right? We're up, I want to say 60-some minutes in that series to Denver's like 59. And how do we lose that series 4-1? It kind of blows my mind. We lose a 12-point lead in the first game, 20-point lead in the second game. The third game, I believe it was about a 15 or 17-point lead. And then this last game, I think the most we were up by was like 9 or 12. I think it was 9. But we lose those leads. And it has to go down to coaching, right? I know the players are doing what they need to do, but at the end of the day, the coach needs to put them in the right position to succeed. And Anthony Davis kind of put this out there in his press conference, I want to say after Game 3, and basically said there's too many times where we don't know what the hell we are doing out there. And that's obvious, right? That is a straight up either punch, a flick, something. It's a shot. It's a damn shot at Darvin Ham. And it is kind of frustrating. I wouldn't put everything on Darvin Ham. I do put it. Let's put the blame. It can go in two ways. It can go either on Darvin Ham or it can go on Rob Pelinka. And I think it is both. So do we give Darvin Ham another chance next season? I don't know. The NBA is a player-driven league. And if your star player or players don't necessarily mesh or agree with the head coach is obviously going to be gone. You've seen that in Milwaukee, and then now you see what happens right there in Milwaukee. Good head coaches don't come by. Adrian Griffin was like 30-13, and then with Doc Rivers, I believe they're below 500 or at 500. So do I want to see that with the Lakers? No, I don't want to see that. Darvin Ham has done a tremendous job. I want to say he was either 90-74, 80-7. I can't necessarily remember the true record, but it's way above 500. So I think Darvin Ham should stay. And what are some things that Laker Nation, what should we, I guess, look forward to in the offseason? We're gonna keep this year's first round pick. We do have a pick swap with the Pelicans, but they have said we're gonna keep that pick. So I believe it's like the number 17th pick in this year's draft. We can use that as basically firepower to get a guy like a Trae Young or any other kind of superstar in a way, star that can help us out who's disgruntled where they are. A Trae Young, a Donovan Mitchell, DeJounte Murray, whichever it is, I think the Lakers need. Now, let's discuss Trae Young with LeBron and AD. Offensively, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I think Trae Young does help this team offensively when a guy, which I believe LeBron James needs to play more off the ball. He's about to be 40 years old next season. And Trae Young and AD, the 1-2 option, man, I think is amazing. I think it'll be great to see, great to watch, especially as a Laker fan and as an NBA fan. You got a guy in Trae Young who could space the floor out, but is not afraid to get in the paint with an amazing floater that he does have. And he would have that pick and roll monster in AD. I think it's great. I think it's great. Defensively, that's where we have a problem, right? Will we be able to pick up the slack in surrounding those guys with 3-and-D players? Because at the end of the day, that's what the league wants. That's what the Lakers want. More 3-and-D players, more wing players that are able to defend and shoot the ball probably at a 30, 35, 36, 38% level, right? So I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see a Trae Young in that Laker uniform. Will it happen? Who knows? Who knows what we're going to do with those 3 first-round picks? I do think we trade them, or at least trade 1 or 2 to get somebody that can help the team now. LeBron, there's reports that LeBron is going to opt out of his contract just to see what the Lakers do in the offseason. I'm going to be honest, I don't think LeBron is going to leave. He wants to be a Laker. I don't think he's going to leave AD stranded out there like that. He brought AD in to win a championship, which they did, and those 2 guys are still amazing, right? We've seen that this season. It's the others, right? The others that need to step up. The D'Angelo Russell that needs to be consistent throughout the whole season. I know he was great the second half of the season. I want to say right after that trade, not actually right after, during the trade deadline. We need that D-Lo for the most part, but I don't think he'll be a Laker next year. He does have a player option, which has been reports he's hit or miss. If he does opt in, he knows he's going to get traded. If he opts out, that's a little bit of a headache for the Lakers because if he opts out, we get nothing for D'Lo, and then we don't have enough money to sign somebody that's maybe $12 million a year, according to Brian Windhorst. So that's where I got that information from. But it's hard, right? It's hard. It is hard to build a team that can compete with the Denver Nuggets. It's very hard unless you can get this Laker team that was consistent and able to keep a lead. I think talent-wise, we were able to keep up. Which another thing, it goes with coaching. There's some defensive schemes or just something where you know there's one guy that's beating you, and that's Michael Porter Jr. How do we continue to leave him open? It blows my mind. I know you want to trap or double Jokic when he gets the ball in the post, but if you see Michael Porter Jr. on the wing, at some point you can't do that. The rotations have to be there. It has to. And so maybe Darvin Ham did say that. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But stuff like that kind of blows my mind as to why he was able to score 26 in a closeout game. Whatever. Crazy. And shoot like 6 threes. Shoot and make 6 threes. So I truly don't understand what that was, but I'm going to finish it off like this. There's 2 things that the Lakers need to worry about, maybe 3. I don't think they should fire Darvin Ham, but if we do, according to reports, Phil Handy is going to be the next guy up. And I like Phil Handy. He's a great player development guy. All the players love him. So if Darvin does go, Laker Nation, we need Phil Handy to get back in there to be the head coach. But I don't think it should happen. I think Darvin should stay. Second, Rob Pelinka needs to find other pieces that can complement LeBron and AD. And that's very hard, right? Because not a lot of people can play with LeBron. A lot of people can play with AD. That's easy, man. That dude is easy to play with, it seems like, and he's a certified baller offensively and especially defensively. So that's going to be easy. Will we get a Trae Young? What are we going to do with those 3 first-round picks? what are we going to do with the Rui and Austin Reeves? Are we going to trade Austin Reeves? That's something to look at this offseason. So that's number 2. And number 3, will LeBron James actually leave? No, I don't think so. I don't think LeBron leaves. I think he knows better than that. But, I mean, only time will tell. Do we draft a Bronny to get LeBron to stay? I think it does happen if Bronny does decide to actually commit to the NBA draft. He's still half and half. He can put his name in the draft, but he can still go back to college. So, I mean, I'm excited for this offseason. I'm a little sad, a little depressed that the Lakers are not in it. But at the end of the day, we do have an Anthony Edwards who looks like a mega superstar in the making. So this NBA playoffs is still going to be good. That matchup, Denver and Minnesota, is going to be freaking amazing to watch. So amazing to watch, and I'm really hoping the Timberwolves win. I'm a little salty, but I hope Minnesota Timberwolves does win. I think they have the pieces to compete with the Denver Nuggets. They do have a guy, and I want to say his name, Jaden McDaniels, to guard a Jamal Murray, who's going to guard Anthony Edwards. They do have 2 bigs to kind of disrupt. You're not going to stop them, but you can disrupt a Nikola Jokic and Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns and a Naz Reid you can possibly put on him. So Minnesota, they have the pieces. Will they put it together against the defending champs? Who knows? We still got the Clippers and the Mavs series tied 2-2. I think that series is going to go 7. It seems the Clippers are playing way better without a Kawhi Leonard, so that is going to be super exciting to watch. OKC just got rid of the Pelicans in 4. Easy money. So, I mean, the playoffs, the West, I'm talking about literally the West, it's going to be a fun ride, man. It's going to be a fun ride. We kind of already know what's going on in the East. Boston looks dominant, of course. They had a slip up in game 2, but they're handling their business right now. Looks like New York is going to beat Philly, Orlando, Cleveland. I mean, I don't really care about that. I really don't. Yeah, so I'm just ready. I'm just ready for this NBA playoffs to continue to happen. I'm a little salty that the Lakers aren't in it, but that's all I got for me. That's all I have for the YouTube, man. And thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I should have said that in the beginning, but don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you guys for tuning in to Sports Industry Podcast.